Hi, welcome back to another edition of Max and Nicky 1000th Time Reactions,
where we react to a song after listening to it for our 1000th time.
We release a video every day,
7 days a week,
so make sure to hit that subscribe button
and ding that post notification bell
so you don't miss out on all our content. So what are we going to listen to right now, Max?
We're going to listen to White Christmas by the Drifters.
This is the Drifters doo-wop version of White Christmas.
Sure. Of course, it's composed by Irving Berlin.
Sure. We actually do a cover of White Christmas ourselves in the style that the Drifters do it in. And we'll put the link to our cover of that in the description below if you're interested in checking that out.
That's right.
If you're new to the channel, what we do on here is we listen to a song all the way through without stopping so as not to disrupt the intention of the artist. And then afterward, we talk about a reaction, go into some in-depth analysis, and maybe talk a little bit about the history of the song and the artist, if we should know it.
We'd also like to mention that we recently started a Patreon for this channel, patreon.com/Max and Nicky Reactions, if you're interested.
We'll put the link to that in the description below, too.
Right, and you can find some
cool benefits by subscribing on Patreon, like
videos that get blocked
on YouTube, like Beatles songs, Led Zeppelin, AC/DC, and whatever.
I mean, we're able to. Sometimes some Beatles songs can get through, but some of them don't. And
but we also do full album reactions every month. Or once a month, so we'll listen to like all of Pet Sounds or all of Abbey Road or something like that.
Sure. So check that out. Again, that's patreon.com/Max and Nicky Reactions.
We also want to mention that we have another YouTube channel called Max and Nicky, on which we perform oldies tunes like this one, or we perform oldies tunes like this one, jazz standards and originals in that vein.
And we have quite a few comedy videos on there as well, if you're interested in taking a look at that. But for right now, let's all take a listen and get in the Christmas spirit with a little White Christmas by the Drifters.
For our 1000th time.
Here we go.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where those treetops glisten and children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow, But then I am dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write. May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white.
I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, just like the ones I used to know, where the treetops glisten and the children listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow. I'm dreaming of a white Christmas, with every Christmas card I write.
May your days be merry and bright, and may all your Christmases be white. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Ooh.
Ah, it's a classic. That's one of
It's
my
great.
favorite
It's great.
renditions of a Christmas song of all time. You know, I probably first heard that in Home Alone.
Home Alone, sure.
It's I think this version was popularized because when Home Alone came out, I think people started.
No, Incorrectamundo. It wasn't
No.
popularized. because of that.
Sorry, not popularized, but repopularized rather.
Maybe.
It had a resurgence, I should say.
I guess, but I mean, this was a perennial hit. I mean, here's the thing: if you have a hit and it's a Christmas hit, generally that means you're going to be raking in the dough every year.
I think that more people
Right.
listen to Bing Crosby's version of White Christmas than this version.
I think when this came out, I think it was quite a hit.
I
can
think
look it up for you.
perennially, Bing Crosby's version of White Christmas is more heard.
no.
In fact, I know for a fact that
I
it
know.
is.
No, of course.
That's
Bing-
one of the most.
No,
actually, that's one of the
Bing
biggest
Crosby-
selling singles of all time.
It's not one of the busiest.
Or what
it
most-
is
one of-
the biggest selling single of all time.
White Christmas by Bing Crosby.
White
right?
Christmas
It
by
is.
Bing Crosby. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
of
it's
course-
definitely the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's the high. I believe it's the biggest selling single of all time. Yeah. Yeah, Irving Berlin. He wrote it. You know, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Irving Berlin did not know how to read or write music. Actually,
Well, we know that Errol Garner didn't know how to read or write music.
I know, but Irving Berlin was a much more prolific songwriter, though. In
that's
fact, that
interesting.
was his trade. That's what he did, was write songs. And he didn't actually know how to, notate it, I should say. I mean,
What's cool about this version is, Bing Crosby's version is very much
from what I understand.
Bing Crosby's version is very much a ballad. It's I'm dreaming of a white Christmas.
Well, he sings it in two different films, actually,
He
I
is.
think, right? Am I correct?
I think
in saying
so.
that? Yeah.
He sings it when he first introduced the song, and then he sang it in the movie called White Christmas,
Right.
which is later on.
That was
in the
made
50s.
after. That
And
was
Rosemary
made after
Clooney
White,
was in that,
right?
and
But that was made after White Christmas had become a hit.
Danny Kaye, I believe, was in that, right?
But White Christmas had already become a hit by that point.
Right, but I think
But
it
I
actually
think-
became a bigger hit because of the movie White Christmas.
Well, no, but
and that's
no,
the
and-
version that I think that's the version that people listen to more often is the one from the 50s, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't know if you're right about that.
Now listen,
From what I
here's a
understand-
trivia question.
Let me just say,
can you answer this trivia question?
Let me just finish that topic, which is that I think the movie in which he premiered it in was not, the movie itself wasn't a big hit, but the song was.
Now, well, what I was going to say was Bing Crosby's version is very much a ballad, but this is kind of more upbeat. This is a more upbeat song
Well,
until the way
it's
end.
kind of got that swing and
Yeah, it makes you feel
But-
good, like you're at some kind of holiday
holiday
cocktail
mixer,
party,
holiday mixer.
But I will say, here's a trivia question. So there are 4 lead actors in the movie White Christmas. There's Bing Crosby, Danny Kaye, I believe, right? There's Rosemary Clooney, and what's the name of the other leading actress in it? Do we know?
I don't know.
I can't remember. Can you look it up?
All right, drum roll, everybody.
Oh yeah, Vera Ellen. Vera Ellen. That's what it is.
Oh, you know what she's famously in?
What's that?
On the Town.
Right.
She plays
she's in
Miss
on-
Turnstiles, if I'm correct. That's right. She plays Miss Turnstiles, I.B. Smith,
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, but I think, if I'm not mistaken, and I might be wrong about this, but I think that Bing Crosby did not initially want Danny Kaye to be in this movie.
Is that true? Why is that?
I can't remember. It might be that, or it might be that in Singing in the Rain, Gene Kelly didn't want Donald O'Connor to be in the movie initially.
Yeah, no, that's
Right?
what
Was
it
that
is.
what it was?
Yeah. It's, what it was, that's...
Well, it's kind of a similar thing,
Well,
It's
no,
like,
he didn't want him to be in the movie at first because I forgot exactly what it was.
he didn't think he would be able to handle the choreography.
Yeah, I think.
But what Donald
but
O'Connor
then- no,
showed
but
him up,
listen,
actually.
No, he saw him and then he was like, "Whoa, I did not need to worry about you at all." Actually, he totally respected him after that. Though.
Yeah. In fact, man, some of the most impressive tap dancing I've ever seen in movies was by Donald O'Connor. But that's for another time. So this song, let's talk about the song.
Oh, by the way, just a little side note on that: "Singing in the Rain." There's
Talking about Singing in the Rain
There's
now.
that sort of kind of dream sequence, or just that fantasy sequence, which uses modern ballet in that sequence. he knew that Debbie Reynolds was not trained as a ballet dancer, even though she learned how to dance for that movie. But he just said this is going to require some high level, ballet dancing. So that's when they called in the big guns. What's her face?
Sid Charisse.
Sid Charisse. She had her legs insured or something.
Okay,
like that.
well, anyway, we have veered way off topic here. Let's talk about this song. Now, something I really noticed was when Clyde McPhatter came in, and that was Clyde McPhatter, right? Singing
Clyde
the tenor
McPhatter.
part. First of all, his voice is so unique. It's really nice to hear.
He influenced a lot of people. Clyde McPhatter,
Sure,
in
everyone
R&B,
from
kind of soul music.
Everyone from maybe even Bobby Hatfield
and pop
to
music,
Frankie Valli to
Yeah, well, he
to the lead singer of what's called the Platters, probably,
well, even Jimmy Jones actually, just
or Maurice Williams and the Zodiacs, whoever's singing the tenor part in that.
well, somebody's singing
in
falsetto
Stay,
in that
in Stay,
actually,
yeah.
but he's singing. He's a real contratenor actually.
Sure.
He's not singing falsetto. It's quite high. But that's his real natural voice.
But it's
but
actually-
he influenced other people to be singing in a high way, so much so that sometimes if you couldn't sing that high, they would just do falsetto. That was
It's kind of funny sounding, but in an endearing kind of really soothing way.
I don't think it's funny.
But it's
I don't think it's funny.
I noticed that, and don't get me wrong, I think the baritone singer is very nice.
Well,
I
got
like
that.
It's that full voice that
He's got that kind of
that's
liquid-
very soothing
He's
too.
got that smooth kind of
I unfortunately I don't know the name of the lower singer in that
melting
lead
voice.
But I noticed initially when Clyde McPhatter came in that his voice felt more up close, mixed more up close than, and this could just be where they were placed, where they were placed in relation to the mic.
Well, that's not
Because
true.
this was in mono, and they probably all recorded this live.
Well, they probably. I wonder if by the time it got to him singing lead, he had to move forward because you could hear him in the background vocals.
Well,
going,
hold on. Well, this is what I was going to say. When Clyde McPhatter came in, it sounded more up close. But then when the baritone singer came back in, the lead singer, that felt just as close as Clyde McPhatter. It was almost as if the baritone singer's voice felt more up close at the end than it did in the beginning.
Well,
so it almost seemed like, they were moving back and forth away, closer to the mic. And it just, that's how the sound is picked up in the mic.
I love how at the end, it starts to get a slightly more ballady at the end. And you can hear like these kind of runs on the piano.
Not just that. That's not what I was just going to mention. I was just...
I'm mentioning it.
No. What I was going to mention was very sporadically, and you hear this more at the end, especially the last chord, but sporadically throughout the song, very sporadically, maybe just once or twice, you hear the organ played, and you do hear the piano played just a couple times, I think, maybe just even once before the end there. And it's very interesting that you don't hear it much at all, except for these few times.
Well, what are you talking about? So what is being played then?
Drums and bass and the voices. That's it, I think.
Are you sure?
It feels like that's the case.
I feel like you could just...
I mean, maybe the
I feel
piano...
like it's just doing comping, just like
maybe
basic,
they're there. Maybe they're there, but they're very unnoticeable, I think. Unremarkable.
Well, I think it's just... to use a kind of a Baroque term, maybe it's kind of to offer sort of some basso continuo, if I'm saying that correctly.
Bossa Nova?
No.
kidding.
It's just kind of to provide, just it's not really there as a kind of, it has a real just functional, it's not there for any kind of artistic reason. It's just there to provide a grounding for basically the rest of the instruments or singers to latch onto something.
Yeah, I love everything about it. I mean, I just love the doo-wop quality of this. It sounds like definitely like earlier doo-wop. This is When did this come out? 1955?
No, this came out, I think, even in 1954, I
maybe?
want to say.
What? No, 1953? Yes, it was 1954 that this recording came out. And it sounds like early doo-wop because you don't hear all those sort of silly kind of doo-wop words that you might hear in the later 50s and early 60s. You know, like ram-a-lam-a-lam-a-lam-a ding-dong, like something like that. But this is just simple ba-da-ba-dum-ba-ba.
Well, it's just kind of providing sort of a, bass, or harmonies.
I
Also,
really
what's
like
kinda
it, but also
interesting
the baritone singer, or the bass, actually, they call it bass on Wikipedia, is Bill Pinckney.
Bill
Pinckney.
Pinckney.
Rather.
In the beginning, you can definitely hear the voices a little quite clear if you're wearing some good headphones. Ba-do-ba-bum. You can kind of hear a little bit of rasp in one of those voices. Ba-do-ba-bum, bum, 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 ba-dum, ba-do-ba-bum. But you kind of hear a little bit of rasp.
Maybe.
It's kind of interesting.
But anyway, this song is just, I love it, If this goes on the radio during the holiday season, and definitely I'll be hearing it a lot on the radio and during the holiday season, if you happen to spot my face in the crowd hearing this on the radio, you'll catch me singing along. That's for sure.
Wait, what? Spot your face in the crowd.
In traffic, or rather, something like that. In the crowd of traffic.
That was a weird thing to say.
That's a weird thing.
I don't know what you're saying, actually.
I will definitely be singing along to this song during the holiday season for sure.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, that'll do it for this
reaction video.
If you like what you heard and saw today, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ding that post notification bell to find out about more Max and Nicky reaction videos.
And if you're interested in becoming a Patreon subscriber,
A patron, as it were.
Yeah, go to patreon.com/Max and Nicky Reactions. Please keep tuning in.